Hi, boys. Dr. Webster here, and I'm going to read a few stories for you, just like I would love to do if we were together in school and like I do for KA and KB every week. So I'm going to start with everybody's favorite Pigeon by Mo Williams. The pigeon needs a bath. I do not. Hi, I don't know if you've noticed, but the pigeon is filthy. So I could use your help because the pigeon needs a bath. That is a matter of opinion. What a kidder. I don't really need a bath. I took one last month. I think it was last month. Clean, dirty, they're just words, right? I feel clean. Maybe you need a bath. Yeah, when was the last time you had a bath? Oh, that was pretty recently. Life is short. Why waste it on unimportant things like taking a bath? What smell? I don't smell anything. And if I do, it's a very normal smell for a pigeon. You know, in some places, it is impolite to bathe. Not really, I don't think. Bzz, bzz, bzz. All of these flies buzzing around me are really a coincidence. Do you think they're a coincidence? P.U. Yuck. Let's get out of here. Take a bath, dude. I think Pigeon's getting the message. Okay, fine. If it's means so much to you, I'll take a bath. Whoa. I'm not gonna like this one bit. Now stay with me for these pages. It's a little hard to see everything. The water is too hot, too cold, too lukewarm, too hot, too wet, too cold, not enough toys, too many toys, too deep, not deep enough, too cold, now it's too hot again, too reflective, that is still too hot. Well, I guess this is it. Okay. Splash! Hey, this is fun. Wash, 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 wash. La 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 la, singing in the tub. This is the life. I love bubbles. Look at my wrinkly toes. Hello, hello, how are you? I'm fine. I'm a fish, I'm a fish. 10 hours later. Can I stay in the tub forever? Gotta love Pigeon, especially Pigeon takes a bath. So here's one of my favorites, and I know favorites for many of you too, George and Martha. I'm going to read you 3 George and Martha stories right now. The first one is just called George and Martha. 5 stories about 2 great friends. Story number 1, split pea soup. So this is from the book called George and Martha. And the book is written and illustrated by George Marshall. Sorry, not George Marshall. It is written and illustrated by Frank Marshall. Okay. Martha was very fond. I'm going to read the text and then show you the pictures. This book's heavy to hold. Martha was very fond of making split pea soup. Sometimes she made it all day long. Pots and pots of split pea soup. If there was one thing that George was not fond of, it was split pea soup. As a matter of fact, George hated split pea soup more than anything else in the world. But it was so hard to tell Martha. One day, after George had eaten 10 bowls of Martha's soup, he said to himself, "I just can't stand another bowl, not even another spoonful." So while Martha was out in the kitchen, George carefully poured the rest of his soup into his shoes under the table. Now she will think I've eaten it. But Martha was watching from the kitchen. How do you expect to walk home with your shoes full of split pea soup? She asked George. Oh dear, said George, you saw me. And why didn't you tell me that you hate my split pea soup? I didn't want to hurt your feelings, said George. That's silly, said Martha. Friends should always tell each other the truth. As a matter of fact, I don't like split pea soup very much myself. I only like to make it. From now on, you'll never have to eat that awful soup again. What a relief, George sighed. Would you like some chocolate chip cookies instead? Martha asked. Oh, that would be lovely, said George. Then you shall have them, said Martha. So George and Martha stories always have a little bit of a lesson somewhere in them, something for you to think about. Not always the obvious thing, though. Frank Marshall makes us think. The next story is called The Mirror. How I love to look at myself in the mirror, said Martha. Every chance she got, Martha looked at herself in the mirror. Sometimes Martha even woke up during the night to look at herself. This is fun, she giggled. Hope you also notice how Frank Marshall does these illustrations. They're pretty fun. But George was getting tired of watching Martha look at herself in the mirror. One day, George pasted a silly picture he had drawn of Martha onto the mirror. What a scare it gave Martha. Oh dear, she cried. What has happened to me? That's what happens when you look at yourself in the mirror, said George. Then I'm too much in the mirror, said George. Then I won't ever do it again, said Martha. And she didn't. And I think I keep calling the author and illustrator by the wrong name. It's James Marshall, who's the author and illustrator, and pay close attention to how he makes the illustrations. Here's the last story. You may remember it from having heard it before. It's called The Tooth. One day, when George was skating to Martha's house, he tripped and fell, and he broke off his right front tooth. It was his favorite tooth, too. It's a little funny to talk about your favorite tooth when you only have 2 teeth. When he got to Martha's, George cried his eyes out. Oh, dear me, he cried. I look so funny without my favorite tooth. There, said Martha. The next day, George went to the dentist. The dentist replaced George's missing tooth with a lovely gold one. When Martha saw George's lovely new golden tooth, she was very happy. George, she exclaimed, you look so handsome and distinguished with your new tooth. And George was happy too. That's what friends are for, he said. They always look on the bright side, and they always know how to cheer you up. But they also tell you the truth, said Martha with a smile. Those are 3 stories about 2 great friends, and also the pigeon story, and I'm glad I had a chance to read to you, and I'm going to try and do that every week to get some stories out to you. Hope you all are doing well, staying safe, and enjoying some time at home and doing your schoolwork. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.